Yes, the biggest World Cup, of course, history is finally here. Just we know that World Cup, this is a season, and of course, officially next week, the opening match already starts there with the different groups. Yes, so this time around, we got 48 countries that have, of course, nations that are participating in this tournament from 32, the previous one that we had from 1998 to 2022. That is when we had 32, of course, a nation that do participate in a World Cup, of course, competition. But this time around, it has been extended to 48 nations there that we need to look at. But which teams actually qualified for this 2026 FIFA World Cup? And of course, who has the best chance of lifting this trophy this very season? We shall break them down at Etap Sport Extra here. And of course, we say just stay always tuned for a surprising nation that could shock us this summer. Yes, so I believe each and everyone is doing quite well. Welcome to Etap Sport Extra. Of course, we also said Etap Football. Of course, their game that I always give you the best analysis for this FIFA World Cup. I'll be breaking every games, every group in the next experience. We shall also have it different groups, the expectations from all the clubs, who has the potential of shining in each, of course, a group there. Then if you to look at this, of course, in history, 48 teams that are going to, of course, that are going to compete for this biggest, of course, prize this very season, means a lot would be, there would be a lot of dramas. Of course, there are some nations that are shockers that have made it for the first time after a long time, and some of the nations that have taken decade without making it there to, of course, FIFA World Cup. But this time around, we shall see them. And of course, we got different, we can say that different countries or nations have sent a representative there. So we are starting with the one, of course, from North America there. We need to know from which nations. Africans, how many did we send? Because some people are asking that how many countries are from Africa qualified for this World Cup. And then from North America, from Europe, I break them down there at Etap Sport Football here. Yeah, so let's start with the one in North America. And of course, we begin with CONCACAF. That is the team Canada, Mexico, United States, of course, and Panama, Haiti, and Curacao. Yes, so these are the teams that, of course, first qualified under this in North America here. That we need to know. Someone asked me, is there in a country, a nation called Panama? I was like, yes, it is there. Curacao, we didn't know all these countries, but we'll be seeing them playing. It's best for us African country because we don't know these teams. How do they look? How do they play? Which country? Maybe surprisingly, you may even find one playing in La Liga or Premier League, which you didn't actually know the country where they came from. Now, let's start with the United, of course, state that enters the tournament with huge expectations, of course, in their soil. They have the home ground support. If you look at that some of the African countries will lack support because simply that is not a hosting country. Hosting country always got a couple of support there because it's happening for us, actually a couple of weeks their month. So Mexico will also be enjoying massive support from fans, while Canada continue also to develop a new, of course, a new talent in this very generation. If you look at even Canada is surprising right now. They got players that are even showing like, what? These guys are building generations, because Canada actually is a team that I do not expect, but because it's a hosting nation, is already automatically there. So also looking at some of the biggest stories that also came there in Curacao, making a historical, of course, World Cup come there. Remember, this team has never, of course, appeared in this. So the underdog is going to face the big giants there, elephant. You may find that Curacao, which is a small nation, playing German, and you ask yourself, and then they shock like German. I'm just giving us an example. Don't misquote me there, that maybe Yes, I'm saying this time. They are perfect. They are good. Actually, they got good players that we're going to look at also that in details in the next, of course, story there. So none of these teams are, of course, among the big, of course, can say among the big title race. But of course, in a competition, it's a competition. It's like a Premier League. If you look at these as Wolves were surprising the top, of course, 3 in Premier League. So there is no small team there. Just because they were not there does not mean that they cannot shock us there. Now that is when it comes to North. And then when you go to South America, we got a team like Argentina. And this team is a defending champion. I can call it a defending champion for this World Cup. They took it 2022. Can they defend, or Brazil would actually make their 6th, of course, title here? We shall look into that also in details. So we got, of course, in South America, we got Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay there, where Luis Suarez come from there, and Falcao, for those who know, Colombia, Ecuador, and Paraguay there. So these are some of the teams that are future in this very specific, of course, a tournament from South America. So these are also 6 teams. And of course, you can see that Argentina last time, of course, they won it there. And of course, they won this game in Qatar last year, because this FIFA World Cup was in Qatar 2022. And of course, they had a very good record there after defeating France, of course, in that very final. So Brazil, remember also, Brazil got a world class. You see the like of Neymar there featuring for Brazil. And looking at other Ricardo and Endrick, they're all available. Endrick, who plays for Real Madrid, will also be featuring there for Brazil, and many others. We shall also be seeing Jesus. That one, of course, for Arsenal, of course, it depends. Gabriel would be also playing for the same, of course, nations there, Brazil. So that, of course, and then also Uruguay. If you remember the World Cup, of course, against Ghana versus, of course, Uruguay there, what happened when Suarez got a red card, actually catch the ball there. We are waiting for this very drama to happen again. I can't wait for next week matches there. For, of course, we expect dramas, penalty, and then also the new dance move that are also coming there. Because you look at Uruguay, you look at Marcelo, Bielsa, and while, of course, Colombia, they are looking at, of course, becoming increasingly difficult people. Ecuador is becoming difficult to follow them. The likes of Caicedo, if you to look at their midfield, they are doing quite well. So they may also be dangerous in this very coming match. Now, let's go straight to Europe, because I said we are looking at the nations who qualified here. Europe, you look at, of course, the teams like England, Spain, France, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, Croatia, Switzerland, Austria, Norway, Scotland, Sweden, Turkey, Bosnia, of course, all they are available. Now you can look at all these teams. These are the teams that have come from Europe, meaning Europe got more numbers. Yes, because you look at the first one in North and South, they were on 6-6, including the horse. So this one has got many. But remember, in this very Europe group, France remain one of the strongest squad, of course, in the world of football right now. I want you not to misquote me. France remained the strongest in this very competition. Yes, I know some people will say about Portugal. We shall also look at that. You also look at Spain, who continue to impress, of course, with the exciting young generations. We are waiting to see Zubimendi, David Raya prove there at the goal post there to be the strongest for Spain. Yes, we shall be waiting to see how they would be performing. Can he continue with that spirit from Arsenal to also take in Spain and save his nation there? England are chasing also for this first World Cup ever since 1966. This is when, by the way, this England took. So they have taken long without taking this very specific cup. Now, Another team that, of course, Germany has become dangerous when, of course, a major tournament. Remember also Germany taking those trophies. Not the first time that, of course, Germany would be competing for these competitions. They have ever taken this very, when those of Swans, a Tiger, or there's another guy called Guzman, not Guzman, who played also for, used to play for Real Madrid, yes. And then Swans Tiger, we used to play for Manchester United. They were all among the squad that saved, of course, Germany in that last World Cup there. They took the trophy. Yeah. Then, of course, we got also the Portugal is making, of course, one of their final major tournament rounds with Cristiano Ronaldo. Still, we believe is involved. Yes, I just have that love for Portugal because of Cristiano Ronaldo and many others that I cannot leave the Pepe. If I'm talking about Ronaldo, just know that Pepe is part of that group. So I also love that Portugal would be actually giving a difficult time for some of the teams here. You know who is the GOAT? And of course, this got a very good squad. If you to look deep into their squad, Enzo Fernandez, look at Pedro Neto, who is actually there in that very squad. Vitina, looking at Rayo, Farrell, Mendes, and many others that I cannot mention now. Joao Felix, all they're available for Portugal, and they look very dangerous. However, of course, in that previous meeting with Chile, there was a lot of also gap, but I believe they come back stronger in their opening match versus Congo. They are democratic. Now, of course, also, when you come to our lovely Africa, yes, this is where I come from. And I love it when I just reach Africa. I got that love for Africa. And just come close from East Africa, our first back, Democratic Republic of Congo is part of us. That is my number one. And then other African countries, I will back you, but where Congo? It's there. It becomes my number one. So don't feel jealous. I love my neighbor the way I love myself. I have love for the neighbors so fast, but all the African countries, I will be backing you so long as you pray other countries. So let's look at those teams that are included. We got Morocco, Senegal, Egypt there, Ghana, Tunisia, South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, then Algeria and Cape Verde that also made their actually move there. And we look at Morocco, who made actually to final there with, of course, this very team that made it to, in fact, is a first African country to make it to semi-final. They were defeated, remember, they were beaten by France. And they made it there. It was a dramatic one, but they made it to final. So it's Morocco that made us proud after beating even Portugal to make their way to that semi-final. So Morocco, I pray that you also keep shining like Akim. We are still on you, okay? We shall expect a lot. We are going to be expecting a lot of push attacking there and distributing goals, games to others, yes. Then also many fans, of course, believe we go deep again. Of course, in many, Senegal remains one of the African strongest, of course, the team. I can say that with many experience. Sadio Mane, where you? I believe you guys are there. Please lead Senegal, and also not forgetting Jackson. Don't disappoint Senegal. Please stand strong. We are behind you guys, and we shall give you full support. Egypt, Mohamed Salah would be leaving these people to hope. That is for Egypt. I expect to see that Mohamed Salah leads Egypt, of course, to that final destiny, to that battle to defend this. Of course, not to defend, to pick the title for the first time. Leave it on the AFCON Cup. Then also you jump into Cape Verde and Congo, who surprise to make their move there. I believe that that would be best one for this very season. So that is for African, of course, who are involved in this. And the second final could also be Asian country that you have like Japan, South Korea, there, Australia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, and also Pakistan and Iraq that made their way there. And if you're to look in this very specific group, people from actually Asia there, South Korea continue to produce, of course, top quality there, and we expect to see many from there. Japan make it the strongest in Asia and also leading into this tournament. I'm just very happy to see, because they have a very good quality discipline and of course experienced players in there, of course, the squad there. Then of course Jordan and Abis are making, of course, their first ever World Cup appearance. Just know it is their first time to be there, and you know, when you are still new in something, just know you must perform. Don't go there and you get beaten like chicken. They must actually prove that they actually need that. So I would be looking at this small team Jordan to surprise those big elephants there. So I would actually look at also Abistan, with actually a smaller nation there, but also make it to that World Cup. So also, if you're to look at Asia itself, you need not to underestimate them. They are very stubborn. You prove like that game that we played, Japan proved to be very stubborn. They play defensive game. They look short, but they make it, of course, they can attack very fast. Now let's enter to Oceania. That is, of course, the game that representing is New Zealand. New Zealand will be representing the Oceanians there. And of course, this is also, they are making history by reaching, of course, they have ever reached, of course, the knockout stages there around. Yeah, so this time around, they would be hoping maybe they get out of that. So out of all these countries that we have talked about, of course, who actually you would be actually backing in this FIFA World Cup when it comes to this very World Cup? I told you that I would be actually breaking the teams, all the groups A, B, C up to the last group, because we got to 12 groups this time around. Remember, we used to have it less than 8 groups, but this time around we are in 12 groups, and we shall look at the possibility of each qualifying. Remember, in each group there are 4 teams, so make sure 2 wins is enough for you to make it to the next. But should you get beaten twice, it will be very alarming for you to make it to the next round there. Then, of course, my question already asked you there. Tell me at the comment section, who will you be backing, of course, in this very FIFA World Cup? Will you be backing France, Argentina, Portugal, or tell me the countries you will be backing after the comment section. Please stay tuned for more parts that are coming for the next episodes there. So stay tuned, and I love you all. Thanks for watching Etap Sport, of course, football extra here. And remember, we shall be having a lot of jazz in this very specific game, so that you can make a selection from there. Stay blessed.